Hi, welcome to another art vlog. I'm doing another book illustration with Tempera, a portrait using pastels, and a sketch in my travel sketchbook. I'm still illustrating the Three Musketeers. This is chapter 7 of the book. I did the drawing on mixed media paper, and I'm using Tempera to color it. In this chapter, D'Artagnan joins the guards, not the musketeers. But since he is good friends with the Three Musketeers, they always hang out, even though he's on guard duties. That's the scene I chose to paint. We have D'Artagnan in the middle on guard duty, and the musketeers are just hanging out with him while he keeps guard. This chapter is about how they become inseparable friends. This is another big illustration with multiple characters. It's always good to practice those. There's nothing really exciting happening in the piece, but I did try to give them each a different pose and attitude to match their different personalities. I gave D'Artagnan a yellow outfit to show that he's in another... I don't know how to call that. It's like another military group or something like that. I started painting the local colors of the piece, diluting the tempera paint with water, and then I proceeded to use more pigment for the shadows, and to darken some of the areas that I felt needed more pigment. For example, the hair and their capes. I also focused on their faces first. There was a lot of elements, so it was a bit overwhelming, but I am confident that the more I practice these kinds of big compositions, the better I will get at doing them in the future. I still kept a vignette look on it, although I did paint more background than usual. Next time I do this, I will try adding more detail to the background though. It just seems a bit unfinished now that I look back at it. Here's the finished piece. I used some color pencil for a few details. I am using a glove for this pastel illustration. This is a portrait of Yasuke from the Samurai Warriors 5 game. At first I felt like painting him using inks, but since this paper is made for dry media, I decided to practice my pastel painting skills. I mean, I don't usually use pastels because they can be very messy, but I like the look they give, and I wanted to play with them one more time. I don't have as much experience with them as I do with tempera. It's always a bit strange having to change the way of working to adapt to a new material. I first started by adding the basic color with some pastel brush strokes. Then I used water to spread the color around the paper, but only a bit. Since the paper is not made for wet medium, I just dampened the brush and tried to use it to spread the color. I tried a top view for this painting too, but I didn't realize it would be harder to see on this view because of the pastel size. So I guess it's a good thing that most of the video is shot from another angle. After I get the main color, I move on to the darkest ones, especially to bring definition on his facial features. I am using the soft pastels of the brand Sennelier, and I am also using conte. The conte is very good to add smaller details, since it has defined hard edges, unlike the soft pastels that are very handmade. As I add more pigment, I blend it little by little, mostly with the damp brush, or sometimes with the fingers, but I prefer the brush. I feel like it's easier to control the stroke that you blend when you use the brush. I'm glad that conte comes also on pencil form because it's even more convenient to do details with them. Although I blend some colors, I leave some strokes without blending. What I like about pastels is the rough texture they give, so I try to keep some of it. It's a very unique look. Here we have the final. I think it's cool in a sketchy way. I did end up adding a lot of line art with the conte, which helps with the sketchy look too. This is in my travel sketchbook. It's one of the many loose goats that you find in the French Caribbean islands. I drew it with pencil first, and I'm using ink to finish the sketch. I am using my regular dip pen for the line art. And to fill in the dark blacks, I am using a flat nib so it makes thicker lines. I am drawing it with strokes to create a hatching look. I like the sketchy look that hatching with ink gives. I just changed the direction of the hatching to give a sense of lighting to the body of the goat. And here it is finished. Thanks for watching and have a great day.